Hey everyone, so today's video is getting put on hold because Riot decided to release Viego the Ruined King's abilities. And boy, what a champion. This is going to blow your minds. I'm not even kidding, because this kit is actually really overloaded for a swordsman. Real quick, in case you didn't know who the Ruined King was, this is a champion that comes from the Shadow Isles lore, as well as the item that has been in the game forever, the Blade of the Ruined King. So this is that guy. So I don't want to wait any longer, so let's just jump right into his abilities. First of all, his passive. Viego can temporarily possess enemy champions he helps kill, healing for a portion of their max health. During possession, Viego's items, attacks, and non-ultimate abilities become those of his slain enemies, and he gains a free cast of his own ultimate, Heartbreaker. Okay, so, like, let me just give you an example, more of a broken example here. So, let's say Viego assists, which I'm assuming is an assist based off of how this reads, assists in killing a Riven, for example. With the exception of his ultimate, he now gets Riven's QW and E to replace his QW and E temporarily. So he's kind of like the polar opposite of Sylas, where Sylas is like, he can steal ultimates. Now Viego can basically steal the other 75% of champions' kits. Okay. And then, while possessing an enemy, Viego also gets bonus movement speed when moving toward enemy champions. Now, you think this is busted. Wait till we get to the Q. So, here's his auto attacks, and then here's him becoming Senna for a bit. So, he's like zombifying the champion he just slain, and like ghosting into it himself like Kayn. So, yeah, it's going to be a little interesting to see how Riot balances this one upon release. Alright, so now his Q. Oh, jeez. Passive. Viego's attacks deal a % of his target's current health as bonus damage on hit. Makes sense, because he obviously has a ghost version of the Blade of the Ruined King. When Viego attacks an enemy he recently hit with an ability, the attack strikes twice. So, kind of like Master Yi's Double Strike. Here's where it gets really insane. The second strike siphons health from the target instead of dealing regular damage, but still applies on-hit effects and can critically strike. The passive is maintained during possession. So imagine, if you will, he assists in killing a Riven, and then picks up Riven's basic abilities. Somebody who is semi-proficient at playing Riven is going to get destroyed simply because the passive is maintained. So, could you imagine Riven Q-auto, Q-auto, Q-auto? Wow. Talk about damage. And then active Viego stabs forward with his blade, damaging all enemies on hit. So, that one's pretty... yeah, that right there feels like a Pantheon, like a tapped Pantheon Q, basically. So, nothing too insane mechanically in terms of the active, but this passive, like, his two passives already are overloaded. This is insane. So, for his W, Viego charges up and then dashes forward, hurling a blast of mist that stuns and damages the first enemy hit. Stun duration and mist range increase with charge time. Damage and dash range do not. So, the mist range I'll explain with his next ability. The only thing here is that he seems like, because of his, like, he's an auto attack based champion with his abilities being more utility and woven in with his auto attacks, he definitely feels like he could be a viable top laner. I'm not exactly sure how this would fit in with being a jungler, because it seems like we're obviously going to have to see the cast time, but that seems a little awkward to me to not be or it seems a little awkward to me to be a jungle ganking mechanic. First of all, just because of the charge time and the speed of the dash, but also we don't know the max range, but if this is max range right here, it would make more sense to me that he would be a laner, just because when you're in that close quarters, that wind-up time, again, doesn't make sense for ganking. So, again, it could be me. We're going to have to see how everything plays out. But it seems like right now he's a weird cross between Silas and Master Yi and Kane. So, yeah. Alright, so, moving on to his E. Viego spreads a wave of black mist around a nearby wall. While in the mist, Viego becomes camouflaged and gains attack speed and movement speed. Now, this definitely seems like it will aid in being a jungler. So, like, he, up in top lane, he can E the side of a wall, mist into it like Senna, and then use his W for engage. If not hitting his W, just simply gap closing. Also, with his W, stun duration and mist range increase with charge time. So I don't know if that's going to have some kind, because this is the mist I'm assuming they're talking about. So I don't know if this is going to have some sort of weird, like if it's not just going to be bigger, or if it's going to like spread down to another portion of terrain. So again, we're going to have to see how that plays out, because this is the only example we're given. But this obviously aids in ganking potential if he's set to be a jungler. Alright. And then obviously this is also similar to Kiana, because it wraps around terrain, just in a very slower way. So his ultimate Heartbreaker, Viego discards any bodies he is currently possessing and teleports forward, attacking the enemy champion in range with the lowest percent health and dealing bonus damage based on their missing health. Other champions in range are knocked away. So I don't know if he's going to need to possess bodies to cast this. It sounds like that's how it's going to have to work. So yeah, in order for him to do it. Although, actually, hold on. Yeah, and this splash art that, like, low-key reminds you of, like, canonical Sauron from the Lord of the Rings. If you didn't know what Sauron actually looks like, Google that, because this really reminds me of that. So anyway, so right now he's not possessing any bodies. So, oh no, that's his Q. Okay, so let me just back up here and just see. Okay, no. That's his. Okay, that's his Q there. It's just the Pantheon launch. So start this out. Okay, yeah. So it looks like he's able to activate it when he's not possessing a body to deal damage. Because that makes sense, because it's lowest percent health and dealing bonus damage based on their missing health. So that's an execute then. Interesting. So we have a guy that can, let's see on the passive here, possess champions and become them, and then maintain the passive damage from auto attacks on those. Just the fact that he has those two passives alone, I think, are going to make him a very hard to balance champion. Obviously, he's going to have a very high skill ceiling, because you kill somebody and then you pick up their kit. So you're going to have to make adjustments on the fly based off of the team comps you're against. Clearly, because of the critical strike, he's going to be a crit-based auto-attack assassin, if that makes sense, that builds Obviously, Blade of the Ruined King, and if you haven't seen the change to Phantom Dancer, that's a very interesting change. Basically, when you get the ghosting passive, you get an attack speed nuke, which is a really cool change to that item, but that's a video for another day. Wow. Okay, so there are all of Viego's abilities. Again, like I said, this gives me some OG Sauron vibes from Lord of the Rings. If you, like I said, if you don't know what he looks like from the original canon, not the original canon, but like his original splash art, this is like kind of what he reminds me of, especially with the green sword. Thanks for watching, and as always, we will see each other again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.